Hello everyone, welcome to the Tea Trail. So this is our third video about pu'er tea, and today I have a Sheng Pu'er tea from 2016, and this pu'er tea is from the Pu'er prefecture in Yunnan province, and it's from a mountain area called Kunlu, which means wounded deer, and it's actually one of my favorite areas. It's I'd say that's a tea that's very easy for beginners, but still it's not only for beginners. So it's a tea that has a very like a sugary sweet taste and a kind of complex floral character, but also like a kind of young and waxy woody aromas and tastes. So it does have a depth of character and a strength at the same time while having still that floral features to it. So and this tea, so I'll show you the cake. It looks like this, and so Kunlu Shan, it says here, Kunlu mountain, and the mountain area is about 30 kilometers from the Pu'er city, which is kind of the capital of Pu'er prefecture, and so it's north from Xinjiang, which is probably the most well-known pu'er producing area. And this tea is actually from a producer that specializes in Yiwu area teas. So, but they do produce some teas in other areas too, and source some leaf material. And this what the cake looks like. So very, very plain design, and no complex designs. But you know the tea is excellent, so you don't need a complicated design. And according to producer, this is a tea that is from the older tea trees. Of course, it's not so easy to actually verify that, but I'd say that once you taste the tea, and if you have tried other older tea tree pu'er teas, you'll see that this definitely is of that style. Okay, here I have an open cake, same stuff, so 2016 one, and I'll show you the leaf. So it looks, I think, amazing. This producer, the reason I like this producer is that they're just very good at sourcing high quality, well picked and processed tea, and then pressing them carefully. So you see that it's absolutely delicious looking, whole leaf, and you can just, for me, when I just see it, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be delicious. So that's what the cake looks like, and I'll give it a little sniff here. And by the way, we've started we have a page on Instagram also, so that's ttrail_net, so you can check that out and follow us there. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to push the thumb button below and subscribe to our channel so you get all the new videos once they are released. And of course, check our online store at ttrail.net. So we are a very small company, and we are like quickly growing the pu'er selection, and probably gonna have some other teas also available, but pu'er now mostly. And of course, we'll see what the popularity of this international project is, but if we get some good following, we'll push more teas out. I just have to show you. I look at the bottom of the cake, and it's just amazing. It's such a well-made tea that the leaf is extremely whole, and you see that they are well rolled, and has this very nice dark color. So it's just like oozing with life. So okay, let's give it a sniff. So it's a kind of aromatic fresh wood. There is a kind of like, in that wood, there's a kind of resin note to it, which makes it like sweet and oily. And there is also, it's not exactly floral in the aroma of the cake, but you can just sense that there could be kind of flowery aromas and taste coming out of this. Okay, so I'll use my needle here to separate some leaves from this. So of course, when the cake has been made carefully, it's a good idea to try to get it off the cake as whole as possible. So usually a kind of needle is better than a knife. So if it has a round shape, it tends to more break the structure of the cake without cutting the leaves. So that's why it's just, you just push it into the cake like this, and you see that the leaves separate from each other rather than you're cutting anything out of it. You should never be cutting anything out of the cake. So this way, you just punch it through in a couple of places, and you see that the leaves are separate from each other, and then they will just drop down. Of course, you do have lots of pu'er tea that it's pressed so hard that it's practically impossible to get it. But in those cases, then it's just impossible. But usually if you have this kind of cake that is pressed with the stone weight, it will not usually be so hard that you would not be able to separate it. And there was some powder that came out a little bit, but mostly I got fairly whole leaf. So, okay, let's go. So I use an easing teapot to make this, and there's two small porcelain cups, and let's heat the teapot quickly here. So it's a good idea to do, you may have some residue of the previous tea, like let's say that you made a Sheng Pu'er or whatever else in these teapots, it's a good idea to kind of quickly rinse. And then also your cups, in case they have some, I don't know, maybe some washing liquid, or if you use the dishwasher, you may have some residue left. So it's a good idea to give a little quick rinse. So, and now for the leaf, like I'll try to, so a larger leaf sometimes can be a little bit tricky to get to the teapot, because also in this case you see that it's a little bit long, so, and it curved, so it doesn't want to go in immediately. So, well, just patiently, and it will go in. This teapot happens to have a fairly small mouth, so you have to be kind of careful to arrange the tea leaves into the pot. Okay, as you can see, I'm not really measuring any grams about how much tea I'm putting in. I just like to go by what feels right. But of course, if you happen to be one of those people who likes to measure things and make things kind of quantifiable, then of course, I'd say that for a small pot like this, maybe about 5 grams would be okay. If you're using a bigger teapot, you could easily go to 6 or 7 grams also. That would be still completely normal. Okay, so I had my boiled water already here, and I poured it in, and now we just wait. So here, because the leaf is fairly whole, the tea is not particularly quick to infuse. So if you happen to have a pu'er with small leaf size or broken leaves, like a leaf fragments, you have to be a bit more careful with this time, because it will the taste will get stronger quickly. But in this case, it's actually pretty easy tea to make, because the leaf is fairly whole and fairly big, so it's kind of slow to react. So and even if you over infuse, it does not usually become very harshly bitter. So you can actually have an infusion that is a little bit too long, and it's not a disaster. Okay, so now pouring it out, it's a kind of like a yellow color that is starting to turn into orange. So it's 5 years old now, so it's what you would expect. Like when it was a young tea, it would have been very yellow, and now it has just a little bit of age. It's starting to turn slightly into this orange direction. So looks nice. Let's give it a sniff here in the teapot. Okay, so now it's like, it reminds me of springtime flowers, like dandelions and stuff like that. And there's still the kind of waxy, woody aroma, and also like there's like the kind of waxiness that apples sometimes have in the skin. So there's that kind of waxy element to the aroma, and some aromatic wood. But it's like, it's amazing in a way that it's like covered with oil and wax. Like there's such a, I don't know, like it's the substance of the tea is just amazing. So you get this kind of waxiness, and that's, I think, is usually a good sign. And it also gives the tea quite a lot of like air and I don't know, it's like easier to drink when it has this waxy character to it. And in the cup, it's very similar. You're starting to get, it's kind of sweet and slightly floral. But all the time there's a firm woody background to it. In the mouth is fairly minerally, so the initial taste is kind of light wood and minerally kind of notes to it. Yeah, it's initially minerally and woody, and now you start to wait. You get kind of a minerally returning taste, and then at the end you start to get this very kind of swelling sweetness. And this tea it's very soft. It's very easy to drink. It's not like some of the kind of smaller leaf pu'ers with fragmented leaf. You get a very strong punchy bitterness immediately. With this, it's nothing like that. It's very, very smooth. But yet it still has the kind of woody strength behind it. So very nice kind of minerally floral mixture. I remember when this tea was younger, there was a little bit more of the floralness in the beginning, and now it's more kind of sweet sugary wood with kind of oily and mineral notes to it. I'll pour a little bit more. I think I'll make one more infusion in this video. And of course, this is the kind of tea leaf that you can infuse really many times. It will easily go 10 infusions from the same leaf. So, but for the sake of this video, we don't want to make it half an hour long. So I'll just make one more infusion and see what the second infusion brings with it. So the first infusion, very often you get a little bit more subtle aromas, and in the second infusion you often get a little bit more air to the taste, but more intensity and maybe a little bit more fullness to the taste. And still the waxy oiliness, it's still lingering in the aftertaste. I think it's not so common to actually find that in Sheng Pu'ers, and usually when you have it, you know that the leaf quality is just extremely good. It's a surprisingly sweet tea, this one. I think that's a part of the Kunlu mountain character, that they have this sugary taste to them. It's almost like some sweetening has been added to the tea. But it's not exactly sugar, but there's a weird kind of like a rock sugar sweetness in the aftertaste. I'll show quickly. So a little bit more intense color now. Not really any that much darker, but it's just kind of deeper in a way. So you get this kind of yellow tinted slightly to orange, and then that's the color of this tea at this age, 5 years now. Okay, and in the aroma, slightly more of the robust fresh wood. And in the taste, there's a kind of overcoat of slight floral notes, and especially brings to mind to me the early spring flowers. And there's a kind of milky floralness to it. And now in the second infusion, there's a lot of that minerality, the sweetness, and the firm wood. But it's all the time, it's super easy to drink, so it doesn't become bitter, you don't feel it at the edge of your tongue at all, it just stays very smooth. So I think it's a great tea for beginners to recommend. It's not like oolong tea or green tea, but it's not hugely far from that kind of experience, so it's easy to get people to pour. Maybe they'll discover that, oh, there's this wonderful waxy woody notes in the background. Okay, I think that's it for this video, and remember to check out our website teatrail.net and also us at Instagram, and remember to subscribe here in YouTube. We need a lot of attention and would like to tell more people about good pu'er tea. Okay, see you next time. Bye.